Danny, the old Billy boy, always good banter, mate. If you can't have a bit of banter with the punters, people get paid thousands to entertain folk on the radio, and you get better patter on you. What can I say?
It's all good, mate. You've got to treat people with respect. Everybody's entitled to their viewpoint, I mean, and you just got to get on with it. I mean, I had a feeling it would be kind of madness staying at a Friday night. I was looking forward to it. I was looking forward to doing the tomorrow night. I'd initially thought, well, because obviously the G-Man does his shows and Paddy Brennan, and hopefully I wasn't stepping on anybody's toes by asking to do this at 12 o'clock, but when I heard G saying he wasn't doing a show and there was nobody else doing it, but I thought I might as well do a wee quick early show, because I say I'm going to do another show tomorrow night. I'm no taxi anymore, so I might as well sit here and talk to whoever. We can talk about anything, mate. What are you saying tonight yourself, bro? What's the crack?
Oh no, I obviously enjoyed hearing Tara speaking on Celtic Green Show. The girl was excellent, It
was a bit hard. From the bit I heard, it's heartbreaking, isn't it? But we can't shy away from this.
It's good. I said on the show, hopefully, I know sometimes with the multi-calls, the line goes bad, but I think it's important. It's obviously a couple of Twitter guys who DM'd us saying, hopefully there's something brewing behind the scenes, and once it sort of formulates, and obviously accounts like yourself, and obviously Good Man Celtic Way and Free Gelly, the boys in the chat, and St. Sixtus, and the boys for Hail Media and that, and hopefully it's just getting the message out there. And at the end of the day, we're all like with football teams and whatever, but when you're not going to see somebody starving in the street, and the way Tara, probably our first ever time speaking on what sort of Spreaker or public, the girl was excellent and did it, but it's all about supporting people dignified way, but you wouldn't think, we're living in a city now, that Glasgow's getting more like Manhattan every day with these big skyscrapers, and there's the boasts of wealth and all that, but the divide's just getting further and further, Tommy, so hopefully we'll get something sorted, mate, This is the beauty of the social media side, it's if newspapers not get involved, it's a wider thing. But as I said, there was obviously I'd said to you when we'd left the rally last Saturday for Thomas, and I handed some people that sat above me in the football, and I gave them the Thomas, the fact stuff, and these people were looking at it as if it was like, World War II's finished. They had no knowledge of it, so hopefully it's about letting people know. And I'm going to Easter Road next weekend, I think, and I'll hopefully jump on the Sons of Donegal bus up to Firhill as well, so I'll be shaving a few in that bus to include a few extra cans in the bag and get it trapped half, mate,
Aye. The thing is, we've got to take, it's a bad situation, but this is a point where if people can get together now and help fight these fascist bastards who are out to destroy, that old saying with Thatcher, there is no society, and it's all these bastards try to break our collective esteem, and how we...
I think it's I think the most disappointing thing of the week was, I think you look at how the common poor games, as I like to call them, and they picked the name the Clydesiders, and anything good about it in this city, and the thing about the Red Clydesiders with the great John McLean, etc., it was working class folks standing up and being very unified, and all right, you make a tendency to the left, communist sort of thing, that never did the city any harm, in my opinion, but it got the city together as a collective. And I just see these PR companies get in now, and they just pick a wee bit of that and pick a wee bit of this, for me there's not enough historical research in actually using a name, So for that socially aware, the Central Belt is, I'm not saying the Highlands, the folk of the Highlands are obviously close-knit communities, but in the border regions, etc. But certainly the Celtic Belt, the Central Belt of Scotland, it's as a community group, it's always been working class because of the old industries and the Lancashire coal mines and through to Edinburgh, obviously, which was more a financial sector, but there was always a camaraderie of people living in closes, as I said to you last night. So, you know, we may not have the closest anymore, but social media is fantastic for Twitter or Facebook. Everybody can keep in touch. So when you see people who go out their way like Tara and the good folk of Mary Hill and all the other food banks, people might not be able, you might be sitting in Canada or sitting in America and saying, no, I can't send a can of beans over. But if you RT a message for the Bronx or Toronto, wherever you are, and you've got a cousin who lives in South Glasgow, leave it on. It's just about spreading the message, mate. You know, and I think it's as well as giving somebody, you know, putting something into a box. You know, you're doing it. Then you know, it's not as if it's you're not looking for photos to actually individually have. But they like that right Tony Blair used to do. You know, look for the photo opportunity. I think people who will be willing to donate to obviously sad things like food banks are, they want to do it with as much dignity as they can, to just say, well, there you go, in the quiet, put it in, and then the person or the people come to receive it, mate. So, no, it was quite emotional even to speak to it. And obviously Jerry's quite passionate about it as well, and I'm sure everybody in the chat room was good. So it's good. I know it's quite funny, you know, I mean, everybody uses the terminology like Celtic family and all that. You know, the only thing you've got the Celtic family is a family fight like fuck. Nobody agrees on anything, but sometimes there's a collective thing that happens, whether it be the events of 125 or whether it be something like food banks where we see our fellow citizens in the city and nobody asks. I mean, you look at we are a city that's always invited anybody to live here. So how many people in this city, and it could be Greater Glasgow, can include Edinburgh, Dundee, Aberdeen, I'm not trying to exclude anybody, but how many people have arrived in this country and they can't speak English? Now you look at these footballers we've got playing at Celtic Park, probably getting 10 grand a week, and they've got an interpreter looking after them, and they've got their car, and they've got a nice flat, and they've got somebody advising them on dietary issues. Imagine a poor Muslim who's arrived in Glasgow, doesn't speak any English, and he can't really go up, or she can't really go up to a family and ask for like halal stuff, and they've not got a clue what's going on, mate, you know?
I know, mate. I know.
So it's quite, so it's good to see. Hopefully it's, you know, the international breaks on, there's not much going on, the transfer window's shut, so the fantastic tool that is Twitter, and obviously it's been magnificent today seeing the duck stuff, you know, it's been brilliant. I would probably indulged a wee bit too much than I should have, but if nobody minds, you know, it's hopefully, they say a couple of DMs off a couple of good accounts earlier on, and they'd obviously get in touch with Tara and all the gang at the Mary Hill Food Bank, and it's important for them to just set it out and what they want to do, and then once everything's set in stone, and then we just start here, and hopefully people get up there and drop some stuff off, mate. But obviously, but Jerry was saying that the long-term issue of a thing at Celtic Park would be fantastic, mate. You know, I mean, we're talking about you can go into Tesco and you can buy a can of beans out there for 15 pence. You know, and you think the money our fans drop going to the football ground, you know, you're paying extra for the programme, you're paying extra food and whatever, and you might be sitting at the cost of coffee and the Forges would be maybe £3 for a coffee or oblivious to it, and you're thinking, well, you know, I could feed a family for a meal, you know. So it might bring it back home a wee bit, mate. So no, it's not good, you know. There's shows like I know Celtic Dreams has been, it started off as just Big G and the Wee Man playing a couple of tunes, but like a lot of the social media, the live shows, like yourself obviously as well, and the Homeboys and whatever, and the Boys of the shows, it's, if there's ever a social issue that's got to go out there, it's good to see that people can get on and relay what's happening, mate, you know?
Exactly, mate, that's what it's all about, because these bastards in the mainstream aren't going to do jack shit, and it's and fair play to Jerry for doing that and taking the show down that way, mate, and it's all a testament to him, and there's many people listening in hear that, mate, and try to do something the better, because enough's enough time, mate, because if we don't do it, I mean, even it might be little, and we can't save everybody or help everybody, but just one person saved, mate. I mean, there's a saying in the Quran, I mean, it gets quoted for all the bad stuff it's got in it, or what people think it's got bad stuff in it, and they get all the about wars and stuff, but there's one quote that doesn't get mentioned anywhere, and it's if you save one person's life, it's like you've saved the whole of humanity. So even just one person that you can feed, it's it's remarkable, you know, just to help one person, you know, and even if you could help 5, 10 people by just helping, like you say, a tin of beans or a loaf of bread and a packet of eggs and or whatever it is, or milk or something, and if you imagine 100 people do that, and then how many? That's 100 families that could eat. You know, it could have. I mean, you could have if you just get somebody's get milk and eggs and bread, then they can have dipped egg in the pan, as I call it. They can have French toast, and then a wee bit of cheese into it. They could have cheesy toast. You put the beans on it, and then a few potatoes. You know what I mean? And actually, you've got a different dinner for all during the day or whatever. And it's nothing special, but at least it's something that people can put in their bellies. You know what I mean? And it might not be. I mean, I heard something. This was for actually somebody who's from Africa, and I spent a lot of time in Africa. Actually, somebody close to me who spent a lot of time in Africa, but he's not actually African. And he said a human being can survive on just a diet of rice, peas, and water. Can survive for eternity. Might not be the best thing, but just on that diet alone, just fresh, clean water, peas, and rice. You know, and just for that, and there's people starving in the world. I mean, his point at the time saying it, this is all it would take for everybody to get fed, and for that to happen, it's criminal that 3 billion people, half the planet, don't even have fresh, clean water. So the things that we take for granted. So yeah, I mean, there is people out there who are bad, but then we have to think. I mean, you look at other countries where they don't have the fresh, clean water, where they don't have food banks, they're just sitting there. One time I remember seeing a programme and it made me great, mate. I can't. I'm going to have to share it now that I brought it up, but it was 2 boys went panning for gold from, I don't know what country in Africa it was, just specks of gold, and they took it to get weighed at the end of the day, and they get told they had no enough. And then it said, and the poor boy says, we can't eat, that means we can't eat tonight. And I'm sitting like that, how the it's just fucking, and it's mind-blowing, mate, mind-blowing shit, and anybody who can't eat, mate, tonight, I mean, we need to do something, mate. We need to do what we can in Glasgow, mate. That's how I feel, because it's an affront to humanity in this country where people are who are gone without, mate, you know.
Well, I had an old mate of mine, and we were on tankers at the time, and I was working down in the Canary Islands, feeling up down there, and Alan got sent up to Murmansk, and it was Soviet Russia at the time, you know, the old World War II port. And he said he went ashore there. This was maybe 1990, and he 91 it had been, sorry. And Alan went ashore, and he said, "I mean, don't get me wrong, he was freedom free. He was a chooker. He was never the best dressed, wee Alan, you know. But Alan said he went ashore in a pair of Levi's and a pair of like Nike baseball boots, and he said he was treated like Michael Jackson, you know. And the locals were going up to him, and some of them, like university trained people, could speak English, and were like, "Oh, have you got jeans? Have you got jeans?" And God love him, Alan went back and basically had 3 pairs of denims that were, I wouldn't say they were done, but you know, they'd seen better days, and so I gave them to the locals. And then I worked maybe 2 years after that. I was working in the Balkans, and when the conflict was on, I was talking to Twitter the other night about it with somebody, and I actually seen a court, like a market, maybe about the size of the old Candleriggs market back then, and there was people actually queuing up to buy a squirrel meat, and it had been boned, and the flesh was out there. And I remember I was maybe about 20 at the time, and I'm walking by going, "Oh, you know, Mr. Gasmalt, man." I thought I'd seen a few things. I went, Jesus Christ, you know. And you move forward 20 years, and you're like that. Glasgow's just sliding. Although God willing, it's never going to get that bad, but you're like that now. You know, let's get on here, mate. So, as you said, when you made the fantastic point, and you know, every day there's a list of people that need help and all that. But if there's one person that I thought it was fantastic, the boy for the Chemo Foundation contacted Jerry and said that there'll be some places that became all Christmas party for some of the rains affected me,
Stay there and I'll phone you back. Stay there, I'll get you right back on.